Well, thank you for joining us this late afternoon, and we're certainly pleased to be here, and this opportunity that MPIC and BATEC have provided to share some best practices in what we're doing in Southern Nevada, specifically the College of Southern Nevada. Before we get started, I thought it might be a good idea if we just kind of went around the room real quickly, as we did in the last workshop. For those of you that attended this morning, it looks like most of you did in the soft skills. Name, affiliation, location, state.
Bob Nelson, technical support, ICT, North Carolina.
Lou Piazza, BATEC, UMass Boston.
Washington College, Chicago.
Very good. We got the East Coast, West Coast, and Chicago here. And of course Nevada, which is sometimes considered West. Lou.
Warren, what is SHINE?
I'm going to let Professor Foreman talk about SHINE. Yeah, we're here to talk about the College of Southern Nevada's Tech.Kno.How lab, Technological Know-How lab. It's been shortened to Tech.Kno.How lab. Professor Foreman is going to give us a little background, historical background on the technical lab, including the acronym SHINE. But before I do that, I thought I would introduce Professor Foreman. And she's a little bit humble and shy, but really we're just honored to have her here today and honored to have her with the College of Southern Nevada. She's been with CSN, College of Southern Nevada, for the past 22 years. Thanks, Cynthia. A tenured professor at that. She has a bachelor's and a master's degree in sociology. She also has background experience as a clinical social worker, a case manager, graduate assistant for the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, survey researcher, and a telecom specialist. She's got extensive experience in scenario-based learning, problem-based case learning, project-based learning, and in my mind, it really exemplifies all that we have learned. Those of us that have attended the extensive experiential learning center workshops on scenario-based learning and the theory of engagement and fostering a safe haven for students to learn. That includes everything from group dynamics, group selection, critical thinking, soft skills, great soft skills methodology for integrating what we've learned in soft skills and presented on this morning. And above all, as I said earlier, providing that safe haven, as she's done for all of her classes at the college, is a place for students to feel that it's okay to make a mistake. Because according to some of the learning theorists like Robert Schenck at Carnegie Mellon, learning is at its best when the learner is allowed to fail. And so she has provided, in my opinion, over the years, that safe haven, which is optimum for learning. She spearheaded the Tech.Kno.How lab, and that's a student-run grassroots operation that she oversees, and she'll talk more about that. A little bit about CSN. We've got 3 major campuses, 2 of them based in Las Vegas. Actually, one in North Las Vegas, one in Las Vegas, and one in Henderson, Nevada.
And 4th campus.
And
the Internet campus as big as Indian.
And the Internet campus through distance learning. Thanks, Linda. Our mission, creating opportunities and changing lives through access, quality teaching services and experiences. And we have a very rich and diverse community. At the you were talking this morning about Chicago. I learn something new all the time, being the 2nd largest community college district in the United States. We are often touted as the fourth largest community college in the United States. Most people don't know. We are the largest learning institution in the state of Nevada. We only have one community college in southern Nevada. You have how many in Chicago alone?
We have 7 in Chicago proper, and we're not even part of the suburban system. And we're 120,000 students just in Chicago proper.
That is huge. We've got, as you can see, 44,000 students, and that fluctuates between 43 and 45, 46. We were at one time third largest community college of its kind, but certainly Chicago sounds like it's larger. I think Arizona, possibly in Maricopa County, is one of the largest. And anyhow, you can see we've got one university in the north, UNR, University of Nevada, Reno, one in the south, UNLV, University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and we've got 4 community colleges and a research institute. But we represent roughly 40% of the unduplicated headcount throughout the entire state. So we are the largest institution in Nevada for higher education, public education. Here's some stats here, multiple degrees and certificates. And in 2003, we also like to tout we were the national champions in baseball. We almost have 500 full-time faculty members. And there was a time when we had many more part-time faculty members. You can see the student full-time to part-time ratio there. Our administrative staff is lower than most institutions of higher education. So I went from full-time teaching for over 20 years to full-time administration. Why I did that, I began to wonder. When this stat came up, it's like it's no wonder we're overworked. Big. Some demographics, and if I can call your attention to this handout here, there's some great facts in brief. All of the programs, the schools are listed on here. You might want to compare it with the Chicago area, the Boston area, and the California area. 112 community colleges in California. We've got one in southern Nevada. So you can see the diversity here. James Jones mentioned this morning during the orientation some of the inequities there, but certainly the percentages or demographics in California. And you can see we're quite diverse, and we're currently applying for a Title IV grant, Hispanic Serving Institute. That is continually growing, as you can imagine, in Nevada as well as California. And we have we've got more females than males. Professor Foreman?
So Shine, to answer your question, really we've kind of battled on what to call our group, and the students have helped me get it started, like Tech.Kno.How lab, and I like Shine. I developed Shine as an acronym, Students Helping Integrate Nontraditional Education, and it's kind of the overlay, because the Shine project does a lot of things, but the Tech.Kno.How lab is its most prized possession as a result of the many things that we try to do. So what we do in the Shine Tech.Kno.How project is it's like a study hall, and students can work on their coursework, whatever discipline they're coming from, collaborate with each other, as it says. But importantly, it started out where they could get assistance with the basic tools that we use to teach our classes, from the Angel system to the Canvas system that will be put in place next fall. Basic PowerPoints that they need to do for their presentations, or whatever discipline they're in, they need to have some basic ICT skills in order to succeed. Now, I teach sociology, and so what I found is that my students were not really able to do their projects without basic ICT skills. It was just really necessary that we set up a situation where they could learn the tools. So that's where the project started a little bit. We joined the BATEC partnership in a way, and I have Deborah's quote here that I found online because I think it really shows what it is we're trying to do with our partnership with BATEC. We are focusing in on successful student engagement through several initiatives, BATEC is. Student leaders are being utilized at partner institutions, and again, before BATEC came on my radar, that's what we were trying to do, is find student leaders who could help other students with the basic technology they needed to complete their coursework. And that hope was, as a sociologist again, to fill in those gaps for student success, to retention, persistence, and a community. Often our students would come to the campus and not have that community. They would go take an isolated class, go home, and they never really felt connected to college life as a university student might. And so we were setting up a room to attract the underserved student populations that over my many years of teaching, I'd hear the stories. The students needed those supports. They were going home to neighborhoods where their friends were telling them, why are you wasting your time? And they had a place where they had friends that saw why they were spending their time with us at the college. So the BATEC partnership really is a model that is trying to infuse some of the things that I see as very important, and Warren brought this onto my radar. BATEC, right? Okay, so this is also a model that you all have been seeing, but when it came across my desk, I thought this is exactly what we've been trying to do. We're meeting my Sociology 101 students, and I have 600 students a year, and trying to develop some of these lifelong learning, dependability, some of these basic skills initially. Moving on up with the Tech.Kno.Lab to have a study hall where they can improve their math, their science, their writing, and they are definitely in there on a regular basis working with each other on all these areas that are just necessary for them to succeed. What happens is that oftentimes students have to have their English 101 before they take other classes. They don't have to have that when they come into my class. So I had the whole range from students that really were not prepared, coming out of a school district that is not preparing them, we're 49th in the nation today, and we had to take them where they came from. And we'd have some students that could compete anywhere nationally, other students that just really couldn't complete a sentence. And so I was hoping in my sociology classes that we could begin to fill in some of these gaps. With the partnership with BATEC, I believe that we're moving to this third level, just a little bit. And the rest of the presentation will show how I believe we're making that bridge as we fill this in to the next level, which is teamwork, planning, and so forth. I point here to this IT user skills across the curriculum. My students that are taking sociology are not sociology majors. They are CSM students, and 1 out of 300 will major in my discipline. I also want to correct one thing. I've been affiliated with the college since I was a student, so 38 years. I came to the community college when we had 12 teachers, and it was a 3-year-old school. I just started, and then I went on through from there. So when I come back, it's really with the experience of what it's like to be in Las Vegas without resources or the parental support or the community support that I needed for school. And I worked my way through the system, and I'm hoping to give that back to other students that might be in similar situations. Okay, so the Tech.Kno.Lab. And you can see we have many different names, many different monikers, and this is all part of the fun of it, is that these students, again, they're not IT students, they're business majors, nursing majors, and the like. They're able to come together and practice their skills. It initially started with Giovanni Freeman Banks. He was applying for a work-study position, and he was sitting outside my office applying with the business teacher, and he's an international business major who has since graduated. And he didn't get that job, and I said something as I'm carting out all these papers. I said, I sure could use some help. The next day I got a phone call, and it's like, you could use some help? Okay, I'll help you. Within a week, Giovanni was helping me with my sociology classes, and he's like, these kids need help, PowerPoint and the like. And so he came up with some of the initial ideas that you saw in terms of accessing our systems, my CSN, Angel,
And
Power
many of these
and
are
the like.
ICT students.
Yes. Well, yeah, absolutely. You know, they're the beginning freshmen. The majority of my students is their first college class, first college semester. Here they are. You know, that's psychology, sociology, and anthropology. We often get these first-year kids. Okay, so immediately we attracted people that I call friends of the project. The cadre of faculty across the disciplines, friends of mine, community members, and students who all bought into the idea. And so we kind of have this mess. You know, how are we going to make this happen? But we had a lot of ideas and a lot of good people. Again, why sociology? I'm an applied sociologist. I see a problem, I try to find a way to fix it, and the problem was underserved populations without the skills and kids with aspirations and no way really to get there. So we used the toolkit of sociology to try to solve and improve the lives of the people around us, and this seemed like a logical area. As the morning presentation, it just felt validated. When I was listening to them, it's like, yeah, we got a problem here, and you know, what can we do? So I, you know, looked within my own parameters of what I had control over, and I went to my vice president and I asked him for a couple things. First of all, space. I didn't want to have to move from room to room. I needed a space that I could make my classroom and permission to have food in that space around computers. And he said, okay, we'll let you try this. And this was now, we just finished the beginning of our third year. So this is our fifth semester we just wrapped up of this project. And again, these CSN students, they take sociology as a part of their general education requirement. And that is, means we're going to get the whole gamut. Okay, so. Our mission in the project is to provide a social environment rooted in the principles and practices that are known to empower students to become active, responsible citizens with resources needed for success in their academic pursuits and career aspirations. Coming out of sociology, I was using the problem and case-based kinds of learning models. I've done some project work, but the SBL and the PCBL all really give me some tools to do a better job with that. And again, 300 students a semester is now down to 240 because of the space issues. I only have to have 40 in the room instead of 50 where it was in the larger situation. But the reality is that these students needed that base of that pyramid again, you know, from how to dress in the workplace, you know, it's kinds of issues. So that's where it all started. That's our mission, you know, to help them in whatever area and socioeconomic area that they needed help in. Right off at the very beginning, I had a group of students, none of them IT students, mind you, on my team, and my team was work study students. You know, we're just doing this. I went to the work study office and began to collect a team, and they put together a website. Never had done it before. So this is the second year of the website. The student who had done the original one moved on, and I had a new student, and she's like, okay, let me see what I can do. So I wanted to show you the initial website again that has links to some of the basic programming that they need, as well as our spring calendar coming on this next semester. It's evolved where we have study groups every afternoon for math and science. We have the BATEC group isn't necessarily, we're working on bringing in, so that will be later in the presentation. We've had several folks that have come in and done some hands-on workshop with some more, well, I'll get there. Okay, anyway, you can see our calendar is quite full. Every afternoon, 12:30 to now, it's actually been till like 7 at night. I'm there. But basically, it's 12:30 to 5, Monday through Thursday. The room is open, and people come in for either workshops, studying, and the like. So on this particular website, then you can see we have it in Spanish, we have it in English, we have the calendar available, and I have a blog here that's a little dated, but this shows my involvement through SBL and the like, and what drove that. Also on this website, if I go back here to...
The calendar is really hard for us to read. Can you give me an example
It's math study groups, Biology 189, which is our core course that a lot of the nursing majors take, and regularly then library workshops. We've had more than 30 library workshops, how to use the online library, partnership. Jumpstart workshops, student success with Jumpstart is a student life. They do them on all the campuses. I'm on the Cheyenne campus, which is the lower socioeconomic neighborhood. But the Jumpstart workshops are demystifying math, how to make a budget. You know, we have academic counselors that come in the workshops, and they're scheduled during registration times. And so they'll come on in and talk to the students one-on-one where they don't have to have an appointment. It's a little more casual. They might just give a simple question answered rather than going and standing in line. And those are the kinds of things that are on there.
Can you give me a sense at the most fundamental level of this environment? Does this feel like a library? Does it feel like a classroom?
Yeah, we're going to get there right now,
Oh,
coming
yeah.
on up. Yeah, we should get you some pictures going on here. This was our original website, and I brought you here in order to kind of give you that sense. Again, everything's in English and in Spanish. And in here they put videos. Two of my students, the one in Spanish is Jennifer. She's my current lead. She is a student that continued through the summer and started with the fall. And she's talking here, but when we get to the end, it'll show you a little bit about the, do we have audio on here?
No, in fact,
Okay.
I lost your.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's really logging
Yeah.
in. Anyway, in Spanish, she's telling us, this is what we do, going over everything, and then she's going to go on in the room and show you. The setting itself was in former AutoCAD room, and I commandeered that about 1998 when, again, I realized we needed to get people's hands on mouses that had never even, they didn't even know how to turn on a computer sometimes. And the AutoCAD program moved to another campus. So the room often sat vacant, and I just kind of scattered it out, and it became my prized possession. I like it because of the large tables. We now have, we can have two of my students at a desk. And so during the morning, I teach all my classes. And they're the natural feed then into the afternoon project. So I think you saw some of that. Let's come back to the slide. Okay, so anyway, we'll get some more pictures coming up here pretty quick. Jennifer is the young woman there. We have the tools, you have the power, and also in Spanish, and she is a nursing major. And I think she's going to switch over to some more project ICT stuff. She's just a natural with it. The young man that's in the picture was a sociology student who volunteered in the lab quite regularly, just helping other students with their projects. It's a delightful man who came from Nepal. And I just want to, on an aside, tell you, he told me not too long ago that his native language was really like grunts and 1 and 2 words to get ideas across. You know, and he found a great ability with the English language to express ideas. He's just phenomenal because he can expand his own thinking because of the fact that the language has been expanded. This is the way it works. We put out food every time, every day, and the students come on in and they develop the partnerships and the like, and student success is the ultimate goal. So it's become a lunchroom, a brown bag lunchroom. Sometimes we supply the snacks, other times we do not. Tech-savvy students, work study, volunteers, student staff, community members, faculty. They come in and share information with each other, from sex education to the 3D design. I love seeing that presentation with the 3D design because we had that experience in our class. We had 2 workshops. BATEC supported with one of my colleagues, Bob Diaz, who I stole the lab from all those years ago. He came back in and he showed them the printing. And the next time he came in, he brought in their little plastic designs that they had done to realize that we can use that with biology anymore, to make the ear. It's just, you know, that technology is just incredible. The students really enjoyed that particular workshop. But again, you know, faculty would come in, mostly volunteers, the librarians and the like, and they work together. Service learning is a big piece of what I do. All my students are required to do service learning, and that's the project-based piece. They go into the nonprofits for the most part, and that's recorded through our own CS inserts as well as my own record book. Where are we? What is my? Oh, we didn't put.
Yeah, it starts in. This slideshow, how are you doing?
Okay, so here's some of the kids that are in there. Again, this is the room in the lab. And when I look across this, some have been my students. Many came in after, or were former students or took my class after. Just right from the top, this is my second hire, and he is a fellow who was supporting his family on $1,800 student loan money. He was the only source of income in his family as a 20-year-old. And he was taking my class that first year with Giovanni, and I said, maybe, we can give him a job. And so he kind of logged on and joined us. He was joined by his sister recently, 18-year-old, and she is just a real smart, ICT-oriented girl that attends the workshops and then passes on the information. Here's a young woman that was in my class maybe 4 years ago before I started this style of teaching, and she's really into animation. We were able to bring in the software, so she goes in there almost on a daily basis. She doesn't have a computer at home, she doesn't have the software, and she has her hands on there, and she brings in other people to join in the experience. So that's some of the kids that are in there. Two of the students who in their service learning, I give them credit if they volunteer in the nonprofits, but some of them earn their credit by volunteering in my project. Adam is one of the best. He started before he was my student about 1.5 years ago, wandered in, and he has committed no less than 6 hours a week on a regular basis to tutoring math. Now we have a math resource center. Some of the students go there. It's perfect for them, but it's not for everyone. It's not good for Adam. He likes being in my project, working with our kids. He likes being the king over there, and he's just a wonderful king. Now, Adam was a child who was raised by a drug-addicted mother, a stepfather that beat him when he came in the house. He was kept in the shed out back. He needs dental work. He actually, I would love to find a way to give him some money, but he is this math genius. And we've given him a comfort zone, and it's hard to get him to go home.
I wanted to mention when I chatted with Adam, he's there all the time.
He's there all the time.
He's volunteering his time. Now, he could be working at the CSN Math Tutoring Lab.
Could be.
For pay. But he's finding that he's so much more valuable with his time helping these underrepresented populations out. It's just very touching. Everything that Professor Foreman is doing in there is just absolutely incredible with these kids.
This kid has such a following. Right before the final exam period, he had 5 or 6 students, and I got some pictures, but they didn't, I'm not sure which camera they ended up on, studying calculus for the exam. And we had, it was just amazing. He's up there tutoring them before they all walked out for that final exam at 6 o'clock. And they come from all over. Is Adam here today? Well, he'll be here on Monday. And he definitely has this following of folks that he's really helped, and in turn it's helped him. So this kid here is not the best picture of him, but he set up a veteran study group, and that's my target population right now. I want to bring the vets into the project as our volunteers, primarily because they do bring the skills, the persistence. So, they often have had the training in the military, and they are also disconnected. They need a home, and this is the kid that really said, before I came in here, I really didn't identify with the other students, and now I do. And so we have these regular groups for veterans to come and study, and we're going to develop that a little bit more. This is one of my favorite stories. Again, kind of a street kid, but he is a videography major. He comes in and shows me whatever new videos he has, and he got his first $300 check making a video for a rapper not too long ago in the background of Las Vegas. Really incredible job. I watched it go from really amateurish work to stellar work. It's just fun. This young woman is in another little project I have, which is, I call it Biology Fridays, and the lab is extending to Fridays, really focusing on biology. She did her volunteer work setting up the labs for biology, and they hired her over in the biology department to continue to do that. So she's kind of a success story there, and she wants to be a research scientist. The woman that's next to her is Warren's current
Rochelle
AA,
Gray on the right
Rochelle
there
Gray.
is our new part-time BATEC administrative assistant. Very, very well versed in areas of accounting, budgets, and we're just happy to have her help for sure.
And you can see the poster here is how to make vegan cupcakes from a speech class. So every once in a while we'll get other posters up there, and all you do is add half a can of soda instead of any. This is what happened. We had chaos. We had lunchroom, we had people, everybody doing everything, but they would be quiet, they'd put on their earphones, we'd keep it cool, you know, and it was just a messy process. And what happened was a grassroots endeavor, the students that came through the lab. And so each semester, a new set of challenges, new set of students, you know, workers and volunteers and people returning and or bringing in friends from other classes that had become familiar with the lab. They come and they say, well, let's go on over to the Tech.Kno.How and do our work. And so it just really did become a mess. Moving on towards more what our partnership is with BATEC and the collaborative stuff we're doing with the ICT. One of my colleagues has also gone through the SBL and the case-based learning is Educator. And Educator had 5 of his student groups, or all of his GRC 101 students, take our project on to Brandon. And the one thing they said, your name's too long, you have too many ways of saying it, and you have too many things going on. Nobody knows what you're doing. Looks like you put in a pile of bricks and now you want us to build something. I'm like, yeah, right, Ed. You come on in, you'll see what's going on. And so he did. And his classroom's right across the way from mine. And he is going to regularly then put his students to the task of helping to create us as the business partners. His students came up with some campaign plans for us to market. Now my students, my workers, I have about 5 now that are workers, are going to take this from his creative brief, and they're working on our mottos, and they came up with these portfolios and different ways that we can market our project and what needs to be done, and we have all this good information to go on, all these different graphics that again his students have joined our students in ways that are just phenomenal. You know, we do some pass-out cards when we're doing the different workshops, what workshops are offered, brand new guide, how to do things. We just got this in December 12th, and really all that. But my students are working on it diligently now. Jennifer especially is on the task during the winter break getting this done. I know some others of their work as well. So these students, just incredible bunch of GRC. Now these are the ICT students.
Yes, they're all part of the MediaTek ICT students, and they are doing exactly
partnered with us.
And then some. They're doing exactly and then some what Elaine Haight is requesting to do with MPIC on a proposal. And I said, hey Elaine, we can share best practices, and that's video recording, scenario-based learning, teaching methodology. Professor Foreman has been doing this for years, and as I mentioned at the onset, just if you really want to see what the Experiential Learning Center is trying to get across on that type of teaching methodology, walk by her class of 30, 40, 50 students, and you'll see 4 or 5 students totally engaged in the learning process, working on an array of projects, and people who would normally probably be on the sideline or even dropped out. They 180-degree phase shift, and so she's doing exactly what I noticed the proposal is submitted to MPIC to do in the California community colleges. Foreman's already joined up with Professor Educator from the Media Technologies department. So hats off to you again.
It's an incredible partnership because those students came in, they're now part of our volunteer army. You know, and they're working together. Their presentations are incredible. We did tape them. Importantly, in my classes, all of these things are done to some extent when they're doing their final presentations for their projects, for their nonprofits. At at some point, one group is doing at least one of these things. But the multimedia presentations are usually, by the end, they come up with something that is multimedia. And in the project, and that's support for that. It started as supporting the sociology students, but it is now support for all students. These are our faculty involved. Bob Diaz, 3D Design, EdConnect, GRC kinds of classes. Professor P did internet-based, you think you know how to use the net, here's some tips and tricks. Nasser Harabi also did a web page development workshop. Michael O'Connelly is planning on coming in and doing some, we're still trying to decide what Michael's going to do, but he's got so many different talents. So we come down to setting up your own home internet system, as well as some robotics he could do, or breaking down PCs. But anyway, he's just a really good friend and has been a lifelong friend of mine. So I'm really glad to see him joining us. And of course, Warren, who's one of my #1 champions. Mutual respect that we hooked into this in the first place. What you see here is Ed Cadet and Bob Diaz in some of their workshops that they did for us in the project. And students again. And the final is the room itself at Christmas time. And this is, mind you, after hours. This is all volunteer. These are kids that come in and use this space to do their work and help each other. Students helping integrate new ways of teaching non-traditional education. They are just in there studying, and the food is the thing that gets them in there. It gives them the sustenance in the afternoon. It's right off of the major computing lab, so sometimes students will wander in from the big lab in order to grab an apple, peanut butter sandwich. We always have peanut butter jelly sandwich available. Chicken noodle soup quite often. So basically it gives them the food, and sometimes that's the only food that some of these kids are getting, quite honestly. In Las Vegas, 1 out of 6 is eligible for the food pantry.
And who's paying for the food?
Who's paying for the food? Initially, we had student government to give us some startup money for that. That was our first year. And then my academic VP did give me some money at the beginning of the spring semester and the beginning of this fall semester. And most of it is donations from other students. It's donations from other students. This is all self-supporting. I donate my time. The students donate, you know, and it's all just kind of a joint effort. What I do is I give the kids that donate little raffle tickets, and I raffle off goodies when I get them for people who have donated something of value to our peanut butter bread. The last example I think I have here is this other slide here. And these are 2 examples of projects that students did put together using, well, they made videos of their projects. I like the final child care project. Warren, I know you like the graffiti project as well, so do I. But I'm not sure we really have time to go over these. Would you like to?
Well, there was the psychometric exercise, which we weren't really sure. I think I'd like you to show the videos of what these students are doing, because many of them are non-declared majors. Many of them are ICT majors, and they come from an array of backgrounds, but they get so engaged and involved and a sense of pride that they'll literally go to that major in ICT.
But we don't have any audio, unfortunately. Again, against the backdrop of the assignments, they are able to come in and help each other learn how to use the new technology.
You can show them the gist in advance for just some of the wonderful videography work that they're doing.
That might not be our best example, but the as far as finding the exact spot right now on this,
I think you can send those URLs to James.
It's on the slideshow.
Yeah, it's on the slideshow. The one that I think I can really advance to is this one that you guys. Graffiti is a problem. Again, the data information, they had to go in and document what it cost to the community, the county, North Las Vegas, Vegas. We don't need you here. This is all graffiti that is in our neighborhoods. They documented how it destroys, you know, home value. People feel more fearful, less likely to use public transportation. And then as they went on and they showed us what the community can do about it, along with some testimonials. You know, they went out there and did their research. This one was personally out after one of the graffiti artists. His name is Doc. She wants to personally get him. Ways to prevent graffiti in your neighborhood. Again, sociology is my area, but citizen action, the keys, the solutions, you know, again, applied sociology, what you can do about the problem. And what you can do is get rid of it. You have community, residents, going forward, cleaning it up, you know, not putting up with it. And sometimes those will be my students. Now, what I do find interesting about this video, once it was produced, the young man that led this project ran into me a while after, and one of the graffiti artists that was portrayed in the project confessed it was his work, and he was later arrested. And so my student was really kind of proud of that. It's like he was bragging, oh yeah, my work on there, or whatever. And so, you know, it was kind of a fun thing for the student to know that he actually did make, it still hasn't signed off yet. So we kind of got Foreman. We did. So the last thing on this is what I do as it relates to their careers and their personalities. We use the Myers-Briggs career test that some of you are familiar with, and there's 16 personality types, and we were hoping we might be able to kind of figure out what type you might be. But basically, I have my students do this early on in the semester, and when they take these assessments, it leads them to what skills they need, what level of education they need, and what other related jobs might suit them. And it really is some career awareness, and a lot of times it does lead them into things they've never really thought of. And I need to get in here to get this. Let's just find what, wrong password. It makes a difference with the right password. When you do come in, there's all kinds of success tools at work. And under increased teamwork, I have them do reports on each other. But this is the basic personality guides that you can use. And in determining your own, are you an extrovert or an introvert? That's the first question. Are you outgoing? Focused. You know, which are you? Are you an E or an I? Do you know? Looking at those? What would you say? What are you?
Me?
Yeah, any of you. Are you an E or an I?
My question is to it, so.
Yeah. So it didn't matter, right? Outgoing, talkative, or yeah, you pick it. Then you come on down. Are you imaginative, creative, or sensible and practical? They call that N, even though it starts with an I or an S. Are you logical, fair, or are you sensitive, supportive, so forth? And again, the test will give this to you. But when you're in the workplace, you can figure out where your partners are, and you can get a teammate report, and it can help you solve some of the problems. You know, it will give you all kinds of reports. So I was hoping that we would have time that you would be able to figure out what yours are. But more importantly, I want to show you what happens once you've taken these assessments. You take the personality, interest, and values assessment, and then you can come on in here, and you can begin to explore your occupations based on your results and who you are. My personality, for example, with a 2-year degree and a certificate, these are jobs that I'm supposedly suited for personality and fit the values I'm looking for in the workplace. If we find one of these jobs, let's just say film and video editor, it takes you in here on what the skills are that you need. It shows you the salaries and other related kinds of careers. So it's just a really useful tool for beginning to explore. Now remember, I have general education students. They're going into all these other areas. And it's just so delightful. All of a sudden they're like, oh, you know, I might want to go do this. I might want to go do that. Oh, let's see. Yeah. Oh, I can do this. And it really is a useful tool. I use this in a variety of ways, so it's really good. I have them all producing resumes, and at the end of the semester, they have to give me a resume that reflects their service learning and what it is, what skills that they implemented related to my class. So that's pretty much what I have. And I cut that down from 110 slides. So. It was short and like, no,